I'm telling you, spiritual hygiene is so important. Like, majority of the population don't focus on spiritual hygiene, never cleanse their energy and then their life. You know what that means? That means that they have a built up and accumulation of energies around them, in them, that are not theirs. And the sad part about it is we don't even recognize our own energy. We don't even know what our own energy feels like, which makes us so liable to be affected by outside forces and outside energies, which allows outside forces and outside energies to latch on to you. You know what I'm saying? And that can be very dangerous. You know why that can be very dangerous? Because then you have these thoughts and these feelings, these emotions that are being projected onto you from outside forces. And because you don't know the difference between your own energy, you're not recognizing that these feelings, these emotions, these thought forms are not yours. So you start to identify with these feelings and emotions. And when you do that, you are inviting that force, that spirit, those entities into your field. You're inviting them to integrate with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not identifying with it as it is yourself. That you see, right. So you just imagine doing that your entire life. You become a portal, a powerhouse for nothing but unwanted energy. Nothing but, I wouldn't even say unwanted energy, but technically it is unwanted energy. But you become a portal, a powerhouse for energies that are not of the highest and greatest intentions, for different lower vibrational entities and spirits. And then what's so bad and dangerous about you becoming an open portal for these energies is that they use you to latch on and to influence other individuals. You know what I'm saying? Now you're a whole black hole. And then what makes that even worse is that you start to go around people and people don't, again, the population don't know the difference either. So that starts to rub off on other people. You know, and now we have the whole majority of the population walking around as open doors and open portals for low vibrational negative energy. Shit crazy. So technically you become a whole ambassador for negative energy. And you don't even see this shit. Like, now 9 times out of 10 you can identify these people because their mindset will always be trash, very negative mindset, very negative perception. They're probably always drinking or smoking or, you know, probably on drugs, right? Probably always wearing black or like really dark and dull colors. Probably would never really admit that they're in a good mood, even when you see that they're in a decent good mood. Those are just some key points. Always talking negative about themselves. That's another way you can spot someone, or, you know, someone that has a lot of low vibrational entities and energies around them, right? Those are all different reasons. So pay attention to that. Pay very close attention to that. And these people, they're loners, you know, and talk about how nobody's their friend, but when they get offered those relationships, they don't take them. They push them away. And this comes from trauma. This literally comes from trauma. That's a trauma response, because these are people that's been hurt a lot in the past, and this is probably why how these entities and shit started attaching to you in the first place, because you didn't heal from the trauma that you went through. You know, you let people in, you got really close to people, and then they betrayed you, or, you know, they started to abuse you and shit like that. And so now you're scared to build relationships with other people. Now you're scared to open up your heart. Now you're scared to be loved. Now you're scared to let people get close to you. You're afraid that, you know, that's just history is going to repeat itself. You're afraid that those people, new people, are going to treat you the way that you were treated in the past, you know. And so you're distancing yourself from your blessings. You wonder why everything's going wrong in your life. You wonder why you're always depressed. Not only do you have all these spirits and energies attached to you that aren't yours, that you don't realize, you're like literally a walking portal. You have all this built up trauma and energy within you that you need to work on. You refuse to get help even when you're offered it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to receive. You don't want to learn how to receive. Like, you wonder why things are the way that they are. And it's a combination of you not healing from the past and projecting that trauma, you know what I'm saying, onto everybody else around you, onto your life, and also looking at people, looking at your life through the lens of your trauma, right? And on top of that, you got a whole bunch of energy swimming around in your field that aren't yours. And the sad part is you don't recognize it. And if you do recognize it, you aren't willing to take the initiative that you need to take in order to change that, right? And you wonder why you don't have a partner. You wonder why you're not attracting good partners. You wonder why you attract toxic ass relationships, right? You wonder why you're always being used and abused, because number one, you don't set boundaries, right? On top of you not setting boundaries, you don't respect your own energy. You don't even know your own energy. And you're not taking the initiative to heal. Some part of you is afraid to heal, is afraid to receive. You know, I want you to take a look at that. I want you to be careful of people who are like that around you.